All right, here we go. This is another attempted recording for me since I haven't done one in a while. We are here in the new Aerobask Eclipse 550, little lightweight private jet. We are here at Rogue Valley, which is Medford, Oregon, and we are headed down to Charles Schultz / Sonoma County, California in Santa Rosa. All right, so as you can see here, we're positioned at the south ramp, and we are running X Enviro. Therefore, sometimes you see a little distortion in the horizon for whatever reason, but we'll take that. So you can see here the X-plane standard scenery that is always updated. By folks that do the airports do a great job. Here's some static aircraft here. You can see here we got the ground power connected. So let's get inside, and we're going to do this flight pretty much from scratch. Alright, now that we are on the flight deck, or in the flight deck, you can see I haven't done anything except get power onto the aircraft. So let's go ahead and get our nav lights on and start going through our procedural checks. We are flying on pilot edge, as you can see there. So let's, but I have obviously chosen a channel where they're not talking right now. I've already filed the flight plan, but we have not gotten our clearance yet. As I said before, we will be doing everything from scratch other than starting the GPU up and turning on the avionics and tying the bus and turning the batteries on, of course. So let's go to the checklist here. Alright, pitot covers and chocks. We saw outside that it wasn't there. However, if you go here, we can see that our chocks are removed, our door is closed, the ground power unit is on. Okay, if you come down here, if you come up, let's get a better view. Let's get a better view of that. And you can see our engine selector switches are off. System battery switches, as you can see, generators are off, batteries are on, and the bus is tied to auto. Fuel quantity is checked, 1,703 pounds, which is the maximum weight. We're doing a little trip for business here, so we just have light folders, no luggage, me, the pilot, and 2 adults on there. So power level is at idle. Parking brake is on. Alright, gear handle, as you can see here, we have 3 green, and you can see that the gear handle is down. All lights and switches are off. I'm not going to set the flaps to take off yet. Flaps are off. I don't know why that's here. Doing it in the pre-flight. But we're not going to do that. Rudder pedals are adjusted. Flight controls thus far are not checked. The aircraft is not on. However, they are there. They exist. And the trims, I will be adjusting this here in a second once the aircraft has got some power. Actually, you know what? We can do our trims now. I'm just slightly moving it down. There we go. So trims are checked. Next checklist. Utilities checklist. Before engine start, we're going to do all that, but we are not going to start the engine just yet. We are going to go ahead and get our clearance that we filed before we even input it into the system. So let's back out of here and let's go on over here to our charts so that we can get our information that we need. Let's see here. Let's just make this a little bigger. All right, Medford Tower, ground. It doesn't say. The anticipated departure that I am going to take is the Brute 7. So let's check that out to see if it's got our clearance that we want. Cascade departure, ground, ATIS, Seattle Center. And it doesn't appear there is a... okay, so what we'll do is we will get our... let me just check air nav quick just to make sure that there is not another clearance frequency that I should be tuning into so that I don't get cussed out on Pilot Edge. Not that they'll cuss you out. They like to do it professionally, though. They like to basically tell you about yourself in professional terms. So they don't cuss us out, of course. So yeah, I don't see any... so Medford ground, they operate 06 to 9 o'clock or 2100. And so in lieu of them having a departure frequency or clearance frequency on here, I should say, there's not one. So Medford ground at 21.8 is going to be what we're going to try first. So let's tune in to 21.8. And I filed a nice flight plan. Most of the route on the flight plan is to the east, and normally you file a odd number. However, I did file flight level 280 because the airport that we are traveling to is actually west of our location, even though we're taking Victor 23 down, which is a east traveling. So they may amend our altitude, but we'll see. So let's go back here. And let's just open that up while we get our clearance. Let's go ahead and make the switch. We should hear them on at any point. Yep, and ground is right there, 21.8, 21.8. We're on Pilot Edge. So let's see what we get here. Hopefully I chose the right departure. Just getting my notepad. You might hear the paperwork in the background. By the way, hope everybody's doing well. Happy 4th of July as I'm recording this video on 4th of July. Disclaimer, you may hear my children who are humbly napping in the background who will be soon to get up soon. Who are due to get up soon. So we'll see. Anyway, here we go. Let's make contact. Medford ground, November 35 Kilo Tango, looking for IFR to Charles Schultz / Sonoma County.
We're at 350 Kilo Tango, Medford ground, cleared to Santa Rosa Airport, Route 7 departure, Talem transition. When it's filed, climb via the SID, squawk 1631.
Okay, cleared is filed via the Route 7 Talem transition. Climb via SID, squawking 1631, November 350 Kilo Tango.
0 Kilo Tango, read back correct.
Alright, so readback is correct. We did a great job following this plan. So I used my Sky Vector. I chose some Victor Airways to travel. So the one thing I like to do now is just get this number in before I forget. And since I'm doing the actual checklist, I will actually see 1631. Perfect. 1631, there we go. Climb via SID. Top altitude for this SID is 11,000. We'll just double check that here right now. Keep going back. I apologize for that. I need to split it back here. And we need to do departures. This is the Route 7. Let's make this big. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys. Alright, so as you can see here, above 8,000 here, at lengths, and climb via SID, just basically for us. Let's see, we are going to need to go to page 2 of this so we can read what the top altitude is. There we go. Alright, so let me make this big for you guys again. Okay, so we're doing the Route 7 transition Talem. Mobile boot intersection on OED Vortec, OED Vortec, DME. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that because we're going direct via a Victor Airway. Okay, so climb right, turning heading If we take 14, if we take 32, climb right, turning heading 060 and OED Vortec. But this aircraft will do a great job of, you know, doing what we need to do. We'll check which runway we're going to take off and refine that. Again, via transition or assign route, maintain 11,000 or assign altitude. So we are going to climb via SID, meaning that our top altitude for this is going to be 11,000. So I'm going to mark this up to 11,000, as you can see here, and then we'll make final decisions. Actually, let me make a decision now. They've actually should have posted the recent, let's see, 2053. No, you know, that's one thing I don't like about sometimes the Pilot Edge information. It's still outdated for Medford. 2053. Let me see if I can refresh the page. If not, I'll need to jump on FlightAware really quick here and get some information. Alright, still 2053, so no good there. So let's go to FlightAware and go to the airport browser and go to Medford, and we'll get the current winds, and then we'll make a decision on which runway we think we'll be departing on. Sometimes the controllers have a different idea of where I should be departing versus what I think. So the altimeter is 2987, and we should be going from runway 32. The winds are out of the north at 310 degrees at 7 knots, and there's some scattered clouds at 10,000. Visibility is 10 miles, so that's good. So let's set our barometric pressure here to 2987 on the altimeter. 2987 is in. Now let's come back down here and let's go ahead and put our flight plan in. Okay, so the first waypoint we always want to do is where we're at. So we're gonna do that. Let me zoom in a little more for you guys. There you go. Let's go ahead and add our departure. 3-2 is what I'm thinking. We're gonna do Brute 7, Tailem transition. As you can see, that's all plugged in there. Then from this one, we are going to load the airway of Victor 23. We're taking Victor 23 all the way down. Let me check my flight plan here. I thought I had it memorized. We're going to take Victor 3, should be all the way down to Romeo Bravo Lima. So we're taking it there, and then from Romeo Bravo Lima, we're going to take Victor 25. And here's Victor 25, and we're taking Victor 25 airway all the way down to Jeter. So Jeter should be our exit point here. Let's just see if, here it is, Jeter. And then from Jeter, we're going direct, okay? So now we're going to just type in this, and there's no specific arrival on that, so we'll figure out the approach once we're in the air and load those charts up and get our ATIS and all that stuff. So our route is in, as you can see here. We'll be departing runway 32. So actually we're going to come this way. We are going to have to come over to 60-degree turn to intercept this for brute and locks and all that good stuff. So now that that is complete, we should get ready to get out of here. Alright, we've got all that information in. So now what we should do is come down to our nice little sky view, GNS 750 here, and let's get that loaded up, and we'll also do sky view for our secondary there. I don't know why I did it 50 times, but yet I did. Alright, we're going to do IAS mode on departure for our climb. And where are we at? Okay, here we go. So now let's go ahead and go back to our checklist. Let me zoom in a little bit more for you guys here. Okay, before engine start, GPU if required. We are going to do a GPU start. We know the door is closed with a green flag. Oxygen control, let's pull that on here quick. Alright, just making sure that's all dumped and good and ready to go. Oxygen pressure, right now it's not going to be exactly it's on the borderline, so let me just come down here a little bit. You guys can see that. Here's the bottle pressure there, and then this will be this will actually go into the green, and this will stabilize. This will stay in the green for our cabin pressure, so no big deal there. So that's good. Our air source is actually off. We will switch the air source on after we get a start. Left and generator switches are off. The bus tie switch is tied. Annunciator lamps. Let's do our test here. As you can see, we've got good test on the annunciator, so let's check that. Alright, now let's go and make sure our ELT switch is armed. It is armed. Sorry, I don't have track IR, folks. So this is the on position, and if you go down here, it's the arm position. It stays that way traditionally, unless you move the switch. So that switch is armed. External lights is required. Let's go ahead and get our beacon going. We're going to let folks know that the aircraft is coming alive. We've got 3 green here. That looks good. Fuel quantity check once again at 1703, more than enough for our flight. Parking brake is set. ATIS and the clearance has been received. The altimeter is set to the current barometric pressure. Comm, nav, transponder, and GPS all set for departure. Yes, they are. And transponder is set for the transponder code that he gave us of 1631. We'll activate that here in a minute, according to our checklist and our flows. Alright, engine systems batteries has to be above 23 volts. If anything lower than 23 volts, we're in trouble. Here we go. We got 26.5 volts. We're looking good. Let's get a check. Beacon is already on. Throttles are at idle, of course. Alright, start battery switch is on, as we previously already checked. And here it's time for action. So let me just come up here and we'll select that to on, and we will patiently monitor this. Folks, there has been one time as I was practicing with this aircraft when I first got it, I didn't monitor it, decided to start the left engine when the right engine wasn't started, and I had a lot of trouble departing because my right engine wasn't started. So it's very important, you know, in the sim world, most importantly in the real world, that you actually do adhere to watching these gauges and making sure that your engine stabilizes, so that you don't have any problems. Alright, this engine is stabilized. Alright, instruments are checked. Left selector, let's come back up. Get that going, here we go. Okay, let's monitor very closely our instruments here. N2 is rising, as well as N1. You'll see a significant jump here any second now. There we go. Jumping all the way up. Our inlet turbine temperature is coming up. Our exhaust gas temperature is coming up. And that is stabilized. The check here is to put our left and right generator switches to auto. So let's do that now. Left to auto, right to auto. We can now kill the GPU. Get rid of that noise in the background. And I'm going to go ahead and switch the air source to normal at this point, because it's going to be something we're going to need to do anyway. Engine selectors on and start. Instruments have been checked. Left and right generator switches. GPU has been disconnected before taxi. The FMS setup is complete. Trims, roll in pitch, roll in yaw are taken care of, as you can see here. Rudder, ailerons, and the elevator, which is the pitch, is all good to go. We squared that away. Now we'll set the flaps to takeoff. Let's make sure they travel free and clear and that we get takeoff indicated. We'll wait for the noise to stop. Takeoff is indicated. Boom. Ice protection. As you can see, it's 28 Celsius outside, which is fairly warm, so we're not worried about turning anything on for ice protection at this point. External lights, we will put on the taxi light here in just a second. We're going to leave this for the rest of the briefing until we get our taxi clearance. At this point, let's go ahead and tune in to ground. I'm also going to go ahead and program in the tower frequency, so that when we get to wherever we're taxiing, hopefully runway 32, that's all good to go. All right, so we got 21.8 on ground, and we've got 1940 for Medford Tower. Okay, and our departure frequency today for the Cascade departure is going to be 24.3, so perfect. All right, so let's get our information. We are on the south ramp, close to the tower. Medford ground, November 350 Kilo Tango, with the weather information on the south ramp close to the tower, ready for taxi.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, Medford ground, runway 32, taxi via Alpha.
Runway 32 via Alpha, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we've got 32 via Alpha. Let's go ahead and just take a look here for you folks to see what our travel will be. So we will come back here to charts. We'll get out of this quick. And there I go again, going back. Let's split it back. Let's go to information, split, and let's make it bigger. Okay, so I told him I was close to the tower. Here it is, so that means we are right here. And there's a helicopter parking. I don't know if you saw that when I was on the outside shot. So we are going to be traveling to runway 32, which is down here, which means we're simply going to just follow, pass by the tower and grab Alpha right here. And then we'll take a right turn, and then we'll leave. Now, having said that, we're done there. Let's go ahead. Once again, there I go again, going back. Shame on me. Let's go to our departure to the Brute 7 and just take a look. Okay, so what does this mean for us? We are departing runway 32. Okay, so having said that, let's make sure this is oriented, should be oriented north. So 32, as stated in the other chart, we are going to come up here, and the chart says to jump and grab 60 degrees upon departure, as this turn right here is pretty sharp to go direct to Brute. So here's the radial 0, 9, or 8. So if we come over here and here I go again, look at the second departure page here, which is the narrative. It says climb right, turning 060, and the OED vortex intercept radial 98, which is 0, 9, or 8. So now, what does that mean?
Reno Tower, stationary 1951 Mike is holding short at 16 left, ready for departure.
See exactly what that is.
Number 105 on Mike, Reno Tower, runway 16 left, cleared for takeoff, left turn on course approved, 1240 at 9 or gust 16.
Let's go 13.6.
Cleared for takeoff 16, left turn.
Go squawk.
Left turn on course approved, stationary 51 Mike.
Alright.
Alaska 1893, contact NorCal approach 120.905.
Enter. We're going to swap them. Now you can see here that we need to switch this to Skyview. OED, that's the radio. And let's just double check it. It says radial 98 off of that, coming off of that. That's the right
Delta Whiskey,
direction.
just want to maintain
So
12,000, 12,000, standby for an altimeter.
So now we're going to come here and we are going to change the course to exactly that. So let's change our course to radial 98.
Alaska 1893, NorCal approach, verify you have ATIS information, Kilo at San Francisco, expect the ILS runway 28 right approach.
Radial 98, so when we come off and make a right turn, we'll be intercepting that radio. Let's get this back to where this is on heading, right where I like it.
Number 0 Delta Whiskey, Fresno altimeter 2991.
And there we go. Now, on the heading knob, we can come up here actually, and I like to change my heading knob here. We can make our heading 60. That way we can jump off and get autopilot cracking right away. Now this aircraft, although it has a great cruise speed, the climb speed is virtually slow, so I'm going to take this 180 knots, drop that down to 140 knots, so that when we decide to put it in IAS mode, that's all good. I'll kind of mess with that as we depart. So we've got our radial 98 set up off the OED. Then once we do that, we'll go ahead and ensure that we get it back to our GPS navigation. Alright, so external lights, taxi is on, beacon is on, this briefing is complete, and we're getting ready to take off the parking brake. Taxi checklist, brakes, flight instruments checked, transponder code is on. So let's go ahead and check all that and get ready for our next checklist, which is before takeoff. Alright, so brakes are off, and as you see, there's the tower to the right. So let's go ahead and do what we came to do. Alright, and this should be Alpha right over here, so let's stay out of all that madness there and just pick up Alpha. So we'll just come here. Stay away from that gentleman or gentle lady, whoever's operating that vehicle in such an erratic manner. Alright, here we go. And here is Alpha. So we will take Alpha all the way down here. And as we're doing that, let me get my pitch. So I'll be tapping on this IAS down here. Here, once I set it, and it's going to hold me at this speed. On our departure, air switch is on. That's good. The norm. Back on this power just a smidge. Transponder mode is checked to on 1631. We'll switch to tower, then we'll plug in 24.3 or 124.3 for the cascade.
Air 51 Mike, contact NorCal departure.
Contact NorCal approach, stationary 51 Mike.
Alaska 1893, contact NorCal approach 135.65. Number 151 Mike, NorCal departure, radar contact, maintain VFR, resume all navigation. Alaska 1893, NorCal approach, roger, cleared out, west runway 28, right approach. Traffic 0 Delta Whiskey, just to maintain 1000, contact Fresno approach, 119.6.
Alright. Okay. Nice little smooth turn here. Increase our power so we can hold short.
Number 800 Delta Whiskey, Fresno approach, roger. Expect a visual approach runway 29er left.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and hold short here. Let's jump over here, switch over to tower, which is 19.4. Cascade departure, 124.3.
Yep, 0 Delta Whiskey, just to maintain 7000.
So we've got that in there. Takeoff config is okay. Air switch, the air source switch we checked as normal. External lights is necessary, and our transponder mode is definitely on and transponding. And here we go after takeoff checklist. We'll do all of that happy stuff there once we get airborne. Alright. So let me just check my handheld chart here one more time. Biggest thing is not getting yelled at to make sure. So the only altitude to adhere to is lengths. We need to be at or above 8,000. So we will double check to make
Air
sure.
51 Mike, leaving the Charlie airspace, radar service terminated. Squawk and maintain the VFR frequency change approved.
Once we get airborne. And then once we pick up the radial, that'll take us direct to Brute.
Yep,
And then
that'd be
we
fine.
do direct to Lynx.
0 Delta Whiskey, advise when you have the Fresno Airport in sight, 1 to 2 o'clock and 20 mile.
Alright, let's let him finish this transmission, so we are ready to go. Okay, sounds like he's done. Just make sure he's all cleared up there. Okay. Medford Tower, November 350 Kilo Tango, holding short, runway 32, ready for departure.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, Medford Tower, wind 300 at 7, runway 32, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 32, clear for takeoff, November 350 Kilo Tango.
Epic 0 Delta Whiskey, descend to maintain
All
5,000.
right, so, excuse me, everything is ready. Lights are on. We are now strobing and beacon. Ice protection is all good. No interior lights needed. Air source is to normal. So, brakes are off. Who's ready to party? Alright, as we are getting onto the runway, I'm going to get the flight plan back up. Because there'll be some stuff I need to do to go direct here. Pardon me. Once we pick up the radial.
Epic 0 Delta Whiskey, at a right, downwind, clear to visual approach, runway 29 or left.
Like I said, this aircraft here, there's, you know, it's a nice little aircraft. There's a lot to do as a single pilot. In the real world or the sim world. Alright, we're going to go ahead and advance them all the way up, and then we'll bring them back so that we don't stay into the red. There we go. We'll keep it at about 99.7%, 98% on our N1, N2. Kind of dancing around the runway here. Alright, we're at a good rotation speed. So we'll rotate off the field there. We'll gear up. A little windy there. And we'll stay above the field here. Let's hand fly it for a second here. Start our turn. And put our yaw damper on. Go to our heading, and we'll go to IAS mode, or our climb. To our after, gotta watch our little course bearing here. So we're turning right to 060. As you can see, there's the actual line that it wanted to go to. But in a second here, once we straighten up on our course bearing here, once this starts moving, I can hit nav. Let's do our after checklist quick here. Alright, let's see. Gear is up and checked. We'll go up on the flaps. Flaps 400 feet above the ground, which we definitely have achieved that. Yaw dampers on. Throttles are set. Ice protection as required. Alright. We'll check pressurization, getting closer to 10,000. So, if we come over here in a second, we'll see us getting closer to the radial, which will turn direct as it starts moving here. It hasn't moved yet. So he hasn't had us switch to cascade departure yet, so we'll just stay here for that. Sometimes they forget, sometimes they don't. Alright, we should be getting some movement there on the needle any moment now. Got our course 9 or 8. As you can see, there is movement.
Zero Kilo Tango, attack cascade departure.
Going to cascade departure, November 350 Kilo Tango. Cascade departure, November 350 Kilo Tango, 6,800. I mean via SID.
Number 350 Tango, cascade departure, radar contact.
Alright, so now, as you see, the aircraft is turning.
Epic 0 Delta Whiskey, contact Fresno Tower 118.2.
And then once we get to Brute, we'll go right onto the flight plan. So let's go back here. Get our flight plan pulled up. Now we've passed Brute. Now Brute to length, so now we can come right on over here and switch this to our GPS and hit nav, and we'll be good to go. It'll balance itself out, and we're heading to lengths from Brute, which is good. We're going to cross lengths at or above 8,000 according to the chart, which is good, and then we're going to take a right turn and keep climbing.
Over 0 Kilo Tango, climb and maintain flight level 230.
Okay, up to flight level 230, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we've obviously got our climb all the way up to 230, which that's not our final. Our final is 280.
Number 800 Delta Whiskey, Fresno Tower, wind 270 at 6 or 19 on your left, cleared one.
Passing 10,000, we'll double check pressurization. So we'll come back here to this little trusty checklist.
Alaska 1893, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5.
Right. So let's check our pressurization. That'll continue to come up. We're green here and green there. So that's a check. And let's turn our landing lights off. Our taxi lights. Remain our beacons on. So we're good there. Now at 18,000 feet or flight level 180, as you can see here, we'll go ahead.
1893, San Francisco Tower, wind 200 at 15, runway 28 right, cleared one.
2, which is the standard in the United States at flight level 180. So for now, we're just going to continue to monitor the engines. We're doing good at our climb out speed. Nothing's in the red. Making our turn. Let's monitor our flight plan. Let's get a view outside. We've been doing a lot of talking. Look at that view. Beautiful view. Check the wing view back here. See what our rusty, dusty passengers see. Coming into a bit of a cloud here. Alright, let's get back up where we're supposed to be, monitoring some stuff here. Everything still looks good. Climb still looks great. Got a little bit of clouds going on here. We're right on course. Let's see, we've got winds pretty much almost coming straight at us at 30 knots. One time I did a flight in this aircraft and I just decided to do my own flows, and I didn't do the checklist, and I forgot to turn on the air source, and it was during, 2 p.m. during the day, and it's nice and bright outside. All of a sudden it started getting black, and I said, what is going on here? And I thought about hypoxia setting in. So I looked down, sure enough the air source was off, and it wasn't a good feeling. Good thing it was just a simulation. But that just shows how taking shortcuts in anything in life can impact you in negative ways. So sometimes, we just need to sit back and take a moment to realize that we're not perfect, and that, we can forget stuff, and checklists and procedures are in place, which I always tell my children for a reason. Of course, when I was their age, I thought I knew everything too, but go figure, who's preaching it now, right? However, I do like the fact that Aerobask has actually simulated that piece of it, because a lot of these aircrafts, even though it's modeled on it to turn the switch and get it there in the checklist, it doesn't always necessarily simulate it when you haven't actually done it. That's another thing I love about the Q400, I should say, for P3D and FSX, which I used to fly religiously, mainly FSX. The fact that the ice is modeled on the aircraft, and that you really need to adhere to the ice protection piece of it. Speaking of which, we are at -8 Celsius, and we do have some cloud cover here, so there's possibility. I mean, there's no precipitation in there, but let's get our ice protection on at any rate, just to be on the safe side. until we get up to the cruising altitude there. Alright, in less than 1,000 feet now, we'll go ahead and hit our altimeter to the standard 29902, and we can finish this checklist. Of course, we'll still be in our climb. All the engines look great. All being 2 engines, I meant to say all the gauges look great. They're all into the green. No cause for concern. Again, this aircraft, you know, at a cruise above flight level 180, it can do, you know, 240, 250 indicated. And there we go, we're at standard. The climb, it's a very slow climb. We'll do our cruise checklist once we level out. Probably be switching me over to center anytime now.
Sure, Delta Whiskey, taxi via Bravo 5 and Alpha to the ramp this frequency. Have a good day.
So as you can see here, we're making a nice little turn. I like this screen here.
Thank you. Remember, you're at 0 Kilo Tango, contact Seattle Center 135.15 for hire.
Okay, 3515 Seattle Center, November 350 Kilo Tango.
Alaska 1893, cross runway 28 left at Echo, join Alpha to the ramp, monitor ground point 8 on the other side. Good
So
day.
we'll get higher for that. Let him make sure he's not talking since he's handling multiple frequencies. Seattle Center, November 350 Kilo Tango, flight level 19 climbing flight level 230.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, Seattle Center, climb and maintain flight level 280.
Up to flight level 280, November 350 Kilo Tango. Okay, folks, so we got flight level 280. I've got it here, set in our altitude select. So we'll continue our climb at 140. If this goes into the red, what I usually do at that point is I will put it back into the auto throttle, and I'll do it on our VS mode, where I can manage to make sure the engines aren't working too hard as the air gets thinner. The oxygen is less concentrated at higher altitudes. So, but right now it's still good at 99.7, not at the 100% mark yet. No worries there. Anyway, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna make a left turn to, as you can see here, Talem. So this is actually the Victor Airway 23. So this is Victor 23 we're getting. We'll be on Victor 23 for quite some time. Right now in our cruise, as you can see, let's get a better shot here. In our climb, you can see that our estimated time en route is 1 hour and 28 minutes. Our ETA to final is, and this is the time, 17:14, which is 5:14. And this gives us our distance to our next waypoint, 3.7 nautical miles, which is Talem. However, I wanted to get back to this here, estimated time en route to final. This is going to decrease drastically once we pick up speed. The aircraft is calculating this right now based off of our current climb speed, so that will drastically decrease. This thing gives a lot of information. Here's our altitude here. Right now we're traveling at 163 knots at ground speed. That's not indicated, of course, and we're actually bearing 167 right now. However, I'm sorry, 170, but the bearing of our course line here is 167 degrees. And then this here, this is just going to be our ETA to our next point in terms of what time we're going to pass the next waypoint, which is 3:47, of course. This right here is the estimated time en route to our next waypoint, which at this point is Talem. As soon as we cross that and this line turns magenta, this will reset. We'll watch that because it's kind of cool. And there we go. See, it reset already to 4 minutes and 23 seconds. You guys get the drift, right? It's pretty cool. This aircraft gives us a lot of information. It's not just cool avionics to look at, but it's very informative to us as the operator of an aircraft. There we go. We haven't been doing too much looking outside of the window, as it's a lot of work explaining things and showing the avionics to you all so that you can get a good shot and keeping a good conversation in the video. Once we get to cruise, of course, I'll mute the mic and just let you guys cruise and enjoy it until we get further along our route. I don't have any fancy type of video capture and editing tools right now. I'm just using basic freeware, so maybe perhaps after this video goes well, after that I'll invest in some, you know, low-end video capture where I can also edit it so we can cut some of the boring parts out and I can get my videos a little shorter. But in the meantime, let's just take a peek at our stuff here, just to make sure we are on the up and up, which we are. You know, let's check pressurization. We don't have to wait until our cruise is okay. We're in the green on the cabin Delta Papa, and
2753 Lima, Boeing clearance, loud and clear.
Green on our rate out in cabin altitude, and we're also on the green in our oxygen bottle pressure, so that's great. That's what we want to see. You can see the rudder pedals doing a salsa there for you, a little salsa dance. Alright, as you can see, the flight director is bouncing around a little bit, and our aircraft is just responding here and there to a little turbulence.
Number 2753 Lima, Boeing clearance cleared to Tacoma Narrows Airport, Needle 1 departure, vectors to Sken, direct, maintain 2100, expect 3005 minutes after departure, departure frequency 120.4, squawk 7323.
Okay, so we got about less than 2,000 to go. As you can see here, we are climbing at about 1,035 feet per minute. Just going on for some more indicators here, or letting you know more about this side of it on this highly automated MFD. You can see here our indicated IAS mode is 140, which of course
Sky 53 Lima, read that correct.
Set it here, which is also mirrored here. Additionally, you can see the altitude that I set for our cruise is flight level 280, which is also mirrored here. And then also you can see the current time. Now if I wanted to, I could click on this and it would give the Zulu time. The Zulu time is 2250. I don't want to do it. Let's see. Let's do it. Let's see. Let's just make you happy. There we go. Now it shows Zulu time here in seconds. We've got our alarm letting know we're less than 1,000 to go to our set altitude. We'll go back to our local time up there now and go back. I can also come up here and I can do a couple different things with these here that will change information up here. Anytime I touch the radio panel here, that also will change our active frequency of 3515 to our standby, whatever I have set in there, which is still set for cascade departure at this time. Just in a little bit, we'll start loading some ATIS information via my other computer here. That's another thing that's not
2753 Lima, Boeing ground, runway 32 left, taxi via Alpha 11.
Simulated with Pilot Edge. It's not their ATIS information. You have to kind of get it somewhere. If I were to tune into the ATIS frequency, I would actually get ATIS information from my weather off of X-Plane. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our checklist done. And then also, we are going to now increase our speed to 230 knots indicated. I like it too because it shows us our true airspeed here and also shows us the ground speed. Alright, so we're right at 100 for N2, which is fine. That's accelerating. We're level in the nose, so that's a standard acceleration. This standardly goes to 100% when accelerating up to the desired cruise speed. So we'll do 230. The winds are against us, so the engines will be working a little bit harder today to maintain that. So if that's too much for it to maintain at 230 knots indicated, then I will go ahead and drop that down to maybe 220 so our engines don't have to work too hard. Alright, as you can see, we've kind of gotten past the turbulence. Alright, so we're doing good. Some nice views out there. Just gonna wait for us. You can kind of see how it's still out. It's, you know, the engine is still not working harder than it should, but it's that little bit of almost headwind, because it's coming from about right here, hitting our aircraft. It's making it difficult. And one thing you can do also to see how the aircraft is offsetting, so it input a little bit more right rudder in order to compensate for the wind. As you can see here, our magenta GPS line, which is, you know, which the aircraft is going to stay on, the nose is canted off of it, showing that, you know, the actual bearing of our magenta line is 161 degrees. However, we are actually facing 166 off the nose in order to compensate for that wind. So it's kind of interesting to see that if you're kind of new to figuring out how aircraft respond to wind and how we actually stay on a straight line, or how the autopilot keeps it on a straight line. Because if it was me hand flying it at this point, I'd have to, you know, trim my rudders a little bit to the right at this point to compensate for that wind that's coming off of our right wing, you know, out of the southwest there. Alright, so we are approaching the speeds. So, and then when I get to cruise, another thing in this aircraft, in all aircraft I should say, that I like to do, more so in this one, because this one there is no mixing fuel mixture or worrying about props and condition levers and all that stuff. If the engine is still at 100% trying to keep cruise, I will decrease that, decrease the speed. And as you can see, it's still bouncing up trying to get into cruise there. But we'll take 228, 229 indicated cruise. Let's do our checklist here. Cruise power is set. We're monitoring the engine instruments. Pressurization still looks good. We just checked oxygen. Oxygen still looks good. Fuel quantity is awesome, considering that we've got that big headwind coming. We're still the pounds per hour very low. We're pretty good. So we've got 1,320 pounds of fuel at this current time. All of our amps and volts look good. So we'll go ahead, and the next checklist will actually be the descent and approach checklist. So we don't have that to worry about. So let's go into our flight plan page. Down here we'll keep our traffic page up, even though there's no traffic there. We'll leave it about right there, so we'll keep the TCAS up there. There's really no weather to worry about, so we won't even look at that. Again, we're getting a little bit more turbulence. No worries there, folks.
Number 2753 Lima, Boeing Tower, wind 300 at 7, runway 32 left, cleared for takeoff.
And one thing we'll do, let's just take a look at where the actual weather is doing in Sonoma County. And let's just get a little snapshot. Our major runways 32 and 14. Of course, we have runway 2 and 20. You can see the runways a little bit more narrow at 150 feet. I mean 100 feet versus 150 feet, and a little shorter by 800 feet than the primary runways. Alright, let's see here. So at this airport, here's the terminal, and here's the hangar. So we plan to park over here in the hangar areas. Here's the fuel area. So we got that. So let's go ahead and get a... first of all, let's give the Pilot Edge website a chance to Oh, and you know what? Sierra Tango Sierra. The airport is actually not towered, so we'll end up canceling IFR on the approach just before we're supposed to be handing off the tower. So this airport is one of them that Pilot Edge does not tower. Having said that, I'm on FlightAware on my other computer. I'm going to check the weather information for our arrival airport. Okay, so looks like runway 14 is the winner as it stands right now. Altimeter there is 29er. The winds are out of the south at 9 knots at 170 degrees. And temperature, we got some scattered clouds at 3,100 feet. Temperature is 22 degrees or 71 degrees Fahrenheit. So shouldn't have to worry about any icing. We're above the clouds and the weather, so let's turn our ice protection off for now. And let's look at our choices for approaches into the area. Now, we said as it stands now, runway 14.
Okay, 2753 Lima, you need to wait for a switch from the tower to departure. That needs to be an explicit switch that's issued by the tower. Usually that'll be about a mile or so off the departure end.
Okay, so we're going to do the RNAV 14.
53 Lima, you're already past that point now, and I'm obviously working everything top down, so just stay on the departure frequency for now. Remember, 53 Lima, Seattle departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 3,000.
So according to my flight plan, we will be west of the airport, so more than likely we'll be getting the looks like the Charlie Alpha Bravo Echo X-ray or CABX initial approach fix here, which is good because obviously we don't have to do a procedure turn here, no PT for the RNAV 14 arrival. So, folks,
VFR traffic, 12 o'clock, 4 miles southwestbound, altitude indicates 1,400, type unknown.
Check our flight time here. It's not long, 32 minutes to go.
Number 0 Kilo Tango, contact Oakland Center, 132.905.
Okay, going Oakland Center, 3295, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we've got a little change here for Oakland Center. I guess we'll check in there before we go quick quiet. Oakland Center, November 350 Kilo Tango, flight level 280.
Number 350 Kilo Tango, Oakland Center, roger.
Alright, so we've got a little change. We'll go mute. Oh, no, what I said here is we would, as promised, we are going to check our flight time. Flight time here is about 31 minutes, so give or take 11 minutes until we start descending. As you can see here, we've got a bunch of different legs here that we're doing. Right now we're on the leg headed towards Folds from Fort Jones, and then we're going to go to Shata, and so those are little short legs. So but you can see here on the overall readout here of the estimated time en route to final is 31 minutes, so usually at about 20 minutes we'll start our descent. The airport, Charles, Sonoma, let's go ahead and check to see what the elevation of that airport is, which we just had the chart up, but now I'm looking at my chart on my other computer here. So the elevation of Charles Schultz is about 133 feet. So, and the reason why I checked that gives me an idea of sometimes if the airport is a higher elevation, let's say, 2,000 feet, whatever the case may be, that will alter your descent start time. Of course, we're being monitored by air traffic control, so they're going to give it to us via their instructions. But sometimes if you're on VATSIM flying along, you don't have an ATC, and you're trying to calculate your descent, there's formulas that you can use, but generally speaking, about 20 minutes from your arrival, you can best believe that you'll either already be in the initial descent or starting your descent. as a rule of thumb. So, all right, folks. So I'm going to mute the mic for a little bit. You enjoy a few minutes here, and we'll start.
Remember, 53 Lima, turn left heading 210.
We'll start chatterboxing it up once we get ready for our descent.
Sky 53 Lima advising you that Tacoma narrows weather, and you're looking for the ILS runway 17 approach. Sky 53 Lima, turn left 180, intercept the localizer. Jack 53 Lima, additional VF traffic 12 o'clock, 2 miles northbound, altitude indicates 3,500, type unknown. Sky Factory Lima is 10 miles from send, descend to maintain 2,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 17 approach.
Alright, folks, I just checked. We are within 20 minutes of arriving to Charles Schultz, Sonoma County Airport. I got the updated weather information that was just released after the hour, and it looks like the winds have shifted a little bit more from the west at 220, so still southwest winds. And I think we're still going to stick with runway 14 on the RNAV approach. Altimeter is 29908. And the remarks, there is some smoke in the area. I don't know if the simulator X Enviro is going to simulate that, but if there is, we'll get ready for some smoke.
Jack 53 Lima, how will this approach terminate?
Looking at visibility looks good. It's 10
Jack 53 Lima, okay, radar service terminated. No traffic observed between you and Tacoma Narrows. Report missed approach. This frequency changed to advisory frequency approved.
And that's basically what we'll be getting as well. Our advisory there on Unicom is 2295, just to keep that in mind. Again, we're going to be parking on the northwest ramp there. I'm sorry, southeast ramp, as you were. Southeast ramp over there by those hangars off of Alpha 5 and Zulu. So we should be getting some information here in a second for descent for our from our air traffic control. Again, airport elevation is decently low, I should say. Ooh, that was a big stutter there. Don't know what that was about. Maybe it was loading in some terrain there, some scenery. That doesn't affect the video in any way. Alright, so as you can see here, we do not have far to go. So any second now he should be giving, I mean, if you look at it collectively, let's go to Jeter, not direct. So we'll get 10, that's not there, but if you look to Jeter collectively, we've got, you know, that's 70 miles there, almost 80 nautical miles, so he should start us our descent here any minute. And everything I know, love, and believe says that we will be landing south. But if we land north, there's an ILS and an RNAV 32 that we can take. Again, we'll be coming to the airport from the west, the north, from the northwest, heading northeast or southeast. I'm just looking at the RNAV again, trying to find this point. Let's see, it looks like we'd be coming in Cabix. So let me see if I can find Cabix. There's Jeter. More than likely it won't be Cabix because we'll have all, well, it could be. He would just have to vector us to Cabix to start the actual approach in. So we're headed straight to Jeter, but if he gives us the option prior to, we'll say we want the RNAV 14 from Cabix. And we'll see what we get here. Still getting dashingly closer with no descent, so doesn't call us here shortly, we are going to give a shout and let him know that we would like to start our descent to the Santa Rosa area. Always makes me nervous when they're too quiet. Right now we're looking at we're looking at 50, 60 miles from. It's gonna be cutting it close. Cutting it real close. Oakland Center, November 350 Kilo Tango. And he's not there. Oakland Center, November 350 Kilo Tango.
0,000, advise me of the Santa Rosa weather. Say approach request when able.
Okay, I do have the Santa Rosa weather. Approach request is the RNAV 14, and we'd like to take that from Cabix. Oakland Center, November 350 Kilo Tango. Did you copy the last?
0 Kilo Tango, stand by. I have to look up these approaches and stuff on the fix. I don't have this stuff committed to memory. Which fix did you want to pick that up to?
From Cabix. Oh yeah, and I apologize. I just didn't know if there was a communication problem between us. That was all. I understand you guys are busy. All right.
0 Kilo Tango, no, it's just it's a lack of familiarity with some of these airports. That's the problem. I have to look up the approach charts and stuff and take a look at where it is that you want to pick up the approach. So you're saying from Cabix you'd like to pick up the approach?
Yes, on the RNAV 14. So we'll see what he says.
0 Kilo Tango, you're closer to pick it up for straight in from Thipum. KBEX is going to put you on a little more than a 90-degree turn, which would require vectors.
Okay, then we'll pick it up from your recommendation. And I never heard the descent instructions. What should I be descending down to at this point?
0 Kilo Tango, it's 10,000 and proceed direct to Thipum. Expect the approach from there.
Okay, direct Thipum, and we'll take the approach from there down to 1,000, November 350 Kilo Tango.
Remember 0 Kilo Tango, descend to maintain 10,000.
Correction, 10,000, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so hopefully we can get down. As you all witnessed, there's some definite breakdown in the
Number
communication.
2753 Lima, Seattle departure ident.
Alright, so we are going to go down to 10,000, which I'm sure he is going to most certainly alter that. Let's get our waypoint that we are going to
53 Lima, radar contact 3 miles south of Tacoma Airport. Altitude indicates 1,500. Fly the published missed approach. Say intentions when able.
Alright. So now
Takeoff 53 Lima, roger. Advise when you've got the Olympia weather. Say approach request when able.
let's center our heading bug and get that going so that we can load the arrival. RNAV 14, none, no stars, and pretty sure he said lap, so let's take that. And then let's go direct there. Go back to nav and we'll go direct. So now we are direct lapped. Alright, I got my munchkins in the office with me here, so you might hear some munchkin talk. Now, one good thing about this is we can actually see where our descent for 10,000 is going to take us, and that is pushing it, to say the least. So let's see what else we can do to get down a lot faster than that. Okay, the altimeter, we said in the Santa Rosa area.
Skag 53 Lima, alright. Fly present heading, maintain 2,000, expect vectors ILS runway 17 approach Olympia.
And at lap, I'm assuming we'll probably will be at the 10,000.
53 Lima, actually climb and maintain 2,400.
Descending 6,500, so we'll see. We'll see what we got. Again, this is on a 20 nautical mile here, so that's still pushing it. So let's...
Alaska 2089, Portland clearance, cleared to Medford Airport, Portland 1 departure, vectors Eugene VOR, then as filed, maintain 6,000. Departure frequency 118.1, squawk 4342.
210. Fortunately, we didn't get our descent checklist. Let's get that checked up now. We are not going to forego anything here. It's just a bit of a snafu. Windshield defog, ice protection. We'll throw it on here really quick, just in the off event. Altimeter will be set.
Alaska 2089, Portland clearance.
Here in a second. To 29908. Alright, another 300 feet to go until we set that barometric pressure to 29908. Alright, 29908 is set. Check. Landing lights are good for now. Approach set up and brief. We'll get our plates up here in a second. Slowing down. If you come over here and take a look, we're not doing too bad past that. We'll be here at 10,000, and then we can, let's make that a little, we can get that going. Good thing is the aircraft is doing a great job of maintaining a lower speed, even though we're descending at negative 300. So I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's doing a great job. I haven't done a rapid descent this aircraft like
Alaska
that.
2089, Portland clearance. How do you read this transmitter? Yeah, Alaska 29, I already gave you the clearance. I'm not sure if you missed it before. Cleared to Medford Airport, Portland 1 departure, vectors Eugene VOR, then as filed. Maintain 6,000. Departure frequency 118.1, squawk 4342. Alaska 2089, confirm the initial altitude, maintain 6,000.
Alright, so if you look here at
Alaska 2089, read back correct.
Eclipse, that's where we should be descending down to 5,000, so it's a good thing we're rushing it
Guys,
down.
53 Lima, left heading 200, intercept the runway 17 localizer.
Alright. Working our way in, folks. Working our way in. Alright.
Number 0 Kilo Tango cross flight plan matter above 7,000, cleared RNAV runway 14 approach Santa Rosa, report established on the final approach course inbound, excuse me.
Okay, cross FIPM at or above 7,000. We will report when we're established on the final course. Cleared RNAV 14, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so let's get our lights on. Let's reduce speed to 190.
Sky 53 Lima is 900 miles from Apoyo, maintain 2,400 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS runway 17 approach. Just confirm your heading is 200 to join the final.
So now we can kind of give the aircraft a little break here. See this little situation there move. As we
53 Lima, you appear to be on a 240 ground track, and I can't imagine the wind aloft is that strong to push you 40 degrees off of track. Just be advised of that.
So there's our glide slope, which obviously we're above it, but we're going to catch it, and then the aircraft will do the rest. Alright. Approach setup brief is good. Utilities, checklist before landing, gear, we're not going to do any of that. Stick with the flight plan here. Actually, let's get our chart pulled up at this point. Let's see, this is the one we want. Alright, so we're like coming past Fligh-plan right now. So as you can see here, this magenta line, the aircraft is managing the actual approach now. We've got our landing lights on. Got about 7 minutes to go. Alright, we're turning right. At this point, we're turning right from Fligh-plan to Laswo. Now let's go ahead and take a look here at our missed approach, what we need to do. So missed approach, we need to climb to 5,000, and looks like we need to go direct to WDSTC. So let's get 5,000 on our altitude selector here. Get prepared for our missed approach. Now that we have that information, we start slowing this aircraft down just a smidget more, down to 170. As you can see here, airport field is there, so we've only got 2 little legs to go through. Again, the Unicom for this one is going to be, I had it here a second ago. I believe the Unicom was $22.95.
Alaska 29, Portland ground, push approved down to Tango, expect runway 10 right.
Alright, we're going to go 1 stage of flaps down.
Alaska 29, actually correction to your departure runway, expect runway 10 left at ATCO.
There we go. We got our flaps down. Now we'll be making our left. Once we get established on final, we'll report so we can cancel the IFR, since this is not a towered airport. Alright, so before we get established on final, we've got one more little turn here at Shetty. We'll line up directly. We'll keep our speed low. You can see the aircraft, you can see the field right here actually. And if we come here, you can kind of take a look at, here's the runway. We've got a few there's our field. This actually may be another airport. I don't think that's our airport. We better hope not. Alright. We'll announce here in a second when established on there. Oh, we got a crier. Alright, I had to mute the microphone there. We had a little sibling rivalry.
Guy 53 Lima, contact Olympia Tower 124.4.
Alright, let's get our checklist going on here. Okay, gear, da-da-da. We'll get that as soon as we turn here. Slow our speed down. 160 knots. Actually, let's go ahead and get it to our flaps, our final approach flap speed, close to 130. We got one more little turn to go on here, folks.
Number 2753 Lima, Olympia Tower, wind 010 at 5, runway 17, clear to land.
Yeah, this is some other little airport that wasn't ours. I thought we had it in sight. But it's obviously going to be out over here to the left. There's a little bit of haze when I try to zoom in, so... Alright, it's kind of off in the distance in that little bit of haze, but we are established almost on the final. As you can see here, got 4 nautical miles until UCEV, and then from UCEV that'll be the final. So we'll keep this still on our little glide path there. Because again, the runway's up here, but if you zoom in too much, you get that haze. So and there's the runway there. As you can see, as it looks, we are going to have to...
Alaska 2089, Portland ground runway 10 left at Echo, taxi via Tango, Echo 3, Echo.
Our own little, we'll have to hand fly that in because it's not a direct in. As you can see, the approach, there'll be a slight right bank as we get closer.
Zero Kilo Tango, no traffic observed between you and Santa Rosa Airport. Report IFR cancellation in the air or on the ground this frequency. Change to advisory frequency approved.
Alright, sir, we'll go ahead and cancel the IFR here. We appreciate the service for number 350 Kilo Tango.
Zero Kilo Tango, roger. IFR cancellation received. Squawk and maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Good day.
On Squawk and VFR, frequency change approved. Good day to you, November 350 Kilo Tango. Alright, so we can go ahead and squawk VFR, which we're doing now. We're on our own. Okay, we're going to go gear down. We'll decrease our speed. We've got winds 8. I think we're going to land on this level of flaps. Alright, got 3 green. Check. Brakes are checked. Flaps are checked. And here any second, as you can see, we're on basically on our final leg. I will disengage the autopilot now, and I will hand fly it. We'll stay with the glide slope there. So autopilot off. We'll leave the flight director on. All right, I have the aircraft. Alright, looking good, folks.
1,000.
Keeping our speed where it should be. A little higher. Not landing full flaps. See what that wind's doing. Yeah, it's still about 8. I'll still leave it kind of right where it's at. There we go. This aircraft does not have any braking other than coast and then wheel brakes, so it's always an interesting touchdown. You never want to float this bad boy.
400.
Alright, we are looking good on the approach.
300.
Alright, little bouncing action there, little wind, ooh, a little drafty there.
200.
She's dancing around.
100.
Alright, little rudder action.
40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright. We're down. We'll just coast her down a little bit. Let our speed bleed just a tad. Alright, 80, we can engage the old trusty brakes there. See if we can make this taxiway here, which is kind of right where we want to be around these hangars anyway, as we previously stated. Alright, we are turning nice and easy. Here we go, we're on Alpha 5. Let's clean up. Go flaps up. And let's get rid of the landing. There we go. Alright. Sonoma County traffic, November 350 Kilo Tango is clear of runway 14 on Alpha 5, turning right on Alpha for taxi to the ramp. Alright, gear is up. We don't need this, but we have to do everything here in order to... I guess there's no more other checklists other than that. Alright. We're gonna come down to this area over there. Turn left here on Golf. My elbow had hit the keyboard there. I was trying to send a text to the pilot edge folks, since this is basically just Squawk Box plug-in, if you will. Alright, here we go, right where we wanted to be. And just gonna kind of pull in front of this turquoise looking building here. This is where we're meeting our clients. All right. And before we shut down, let's do a little replay here just to see how we fared on our little arrival from the tower view. We'll take it from there. Nice little wing view, nice and lush. And as you can see, the horizon is a little messed up because of exit viral. But now we're at the... Oh, this tower view is not where we want it. But you can kind of see our approach with the free camera. We'll just stick with the free camera here. As we get out of the air, we'll see a little better clarity. I think once we drop, those mountains get in front of us. See how it's not all hazy now? Here we are. I don't know why that's such a horrible tower view. Normally it's a little bit better, but oh well. We saw our approach visually. Looked pretty good. Let's go ahead and get out of this situation here now that we're here. Let's just make sure we've cleaned up all the checklists. let's see. After landing, we did that. External lights, air source is required. We can go ahead and shut the air source off. Ice protection, we landed with that on, which we shouldn't have done, but we did as a precautionary thing. Hopefully we didn't overheat anything. Checklist: throttles, stabilize 1 minute idle. We've done that. The parking brake is on. Air source, right and left off. So we should have toggled it right and left. Let's do that. So right, left, off. There we go. Alright, let's do our engine selectors. But it fails to turn the generators off, so let's do that. We don't want any problems with that. So let's go with our engine selectors off. Don't burn any unnecessary fuel. External lights, of course, off. Start battery switch off, gen off, bus tie, system battery switch. So fortunately you can't even do all that unless you keep the power on, which is kind of ridiculous, so we kept it on just for you guys to see. Anyway, let's get them off. Let's get the door open. And she's still shutting down. Let's get a nice little outside shot here. There you have it, folks. Thanks for riding along all the way down here to Charles Schultz. And maybe next time we'll fly with some better video capture and I'll do some editing. Until next time, you guys take care and be safe. God bless. Happy 4th of July.